Welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we will see the constructor overloading with the help of example in Java. Before we proceed further, let's understand what is a constructor overloading and why we do it. Constructor overloading is a concept of having more than one constructor with different parameter list. So, overloaded constructors are differentiated on the basis of their types of parameters or numbers of parameters. Constructor overloading is not much different than method overloading. In case of method overloading, you have multiple methods with same name but different in signature. Whereas in constructor overloading, you have multiple constructor with the different signatures. But only difference is that constructor does not have the return type in Java. So why we do constructor overloading? Constructor overloading is done to construct the object in different ways. Now we see the example of this constructor overloading in Java. So here I just define the class which is a public class and the constructor overloading. Here I just write integer which is the ID. So I am just taking the example of a student. So the student ID and then the name and then the student age. Then I just write after this I just copy this name and then the constructor overloading, and here I just write the integer. I just take one value with the integer and another one with a string, and the values are I and n. Now here I just write id which is equal to I, and then I just write name which is equal to n. Now constructor overloading, and then here I just write integer I, string n, and integer a. So integer I for id, integer n for name, and integer a for age here. So here I just write id which is equal to I, then the name which is equal to n, and then here I just write age which is equal to a. Now I just copy this and paste it here, and here I just write void display, and the display here is system.out.println, and the print line is id which is a concatenation of name, and it's an empty string here, and then I just write plus name and plus, and then the string here, and at last age. So after that I just write public static void main, and then the string and the arguments, and then I just copy this class name and make the object for it. So constructor overloading and object number one which is equal to new, and the constructor overloading, and here I just pass the parameters. So the ID of the student is 11 and the name is Fayaz, and then the constructor overloading and the object number 2 which is equal to new constructor overloading, and I just pass the value which is 12 as a integer ID, then Khan as a string, and then the age is 25. Now object number 1 dot display, so I just display this func object, and object number 2 dot display. Okay, so this is the name of the object. So here I just run this program, So you can see at the first you can see Fayyaz ID, and then the ID is 11, and then the name is Fayyaz, and the 0 is the age. I didn't take the any parameter for it. And then 12 Khan and the 25. Now we see the another example of this constructor overloading. So here I just create a new class which is constructor overloading number 2 dot java. Okay, so this is a class name. I just copy this class name, and here I just write private and int roll number. Okay, now I just write overloading constructor overloading. So this is a class name here, and then I just write roll number, which is equal to 100. Then I just write constructor overloading 2, which is integer roll number, and then I just use this keyword and this. So this is used for calling the default constructor from the parameterized constructor. It should always be the first statement inside the constructor body. So now roll number, which is equal to roll number plus roll number. Okay, and then I just write public integer get roll number, and then return roll number. Okay, and then here is write public void set roll number, and which is the integer roll number. So here I write this dot roll number, which is equal to roll number. Okay, and then public static void main, and the string arguments, and here I just write constructor overloading and create an object for it, which is equal to new constructor overloading 2, and then I just pass the value, which is 12, and it's a value which is 12, and then the system dot out dot print line, and which is object dot get roll number. Okay, so I just check the output for this code. So this is the output for this code, which is the value of 112. And as you see in this example, that we call the parameterized constructor during the object is creation. Since we have this keyword placed in the parameterized constructor, the default constructor got invoked from it and initialized the variable roll number. So this is an example of understanding the role of this constructor in constructor overloading. So this is also the example of chaining the constructor in Java. So chaining the constructor is a phenomena of calling one constructor from another constructor of the same class, since the constructor can only be called from another constructor in Java. Constructor chaining is used for this purpose. So here is a question which is, does constructors return any value? So you can say yes, constructors return the current instance of a class, but yet constructor's signature cannot have any return type. So this is the constructor overloading example in Java. Thanks for watching this lecture. See you in next lecture.